All right, look, guys, it's only been week 1. We're just now entering week 2. Hit the brakes. Don't panic. Maybe your stud didn't show off week 1 like you wanted him to. That doesn't mean you need to deal him for a late round pick that just happened to have a good week. Let's talk about who to hang on to and who you need to dish in this week's episode from the forum. What's up, everybody? It's Friday night, 9 o'clock Central. We're in the house. First week of fantasy football. I know all the people that drafted Jamar Chase at 1-1 were really upset. The people that took Dak as a late round hustler, they left found wanting, and the people that took a shot at Quentin Johnston and somehow put him in their lineup just had a great week.
Feeling so good.
I mean, Joe, what was the highlight? If there's one highlight, something out of the week that you're like, oh my gosh, I got like that was the best. What is it?
Oh man, I mean, it's hard to say from a football perspective that comeback Bills over the Ravens. Like, as a Steelers fan, that was so sweet. You have 5 minutes left. You think the game's over. You got people leaving the stadium, crashing outside, saying they're never going to jump through a table again. And then Josh Allen does what Josh Allen does best and brings it home. So I think that was super awesome. But overall, from a fantasy perspective, a lot of good storylines. So it was just great. And for me, having football back, it's just such a positive blessing to my mental health until my team plays, and then it just gets tremendously worse.
Yeah, dude, that game was crazy. Like, fourth quarter. Now, I knew Josh Allen had to do something, and Josh Palmer was one of my late round grabs this year. Well, going in to the fourth quarter, that guy had like 6 yards receiving or something. The line on it was, so the Bills were down multiple touchdowns. The line on his receiving was like 11.5 yards. So I just dropped a quick fat bet on him, bro. And like, next thing you know,
I'm glad that I can't do that in Ohio, because I would probably ruin a marriage. So.
Look, it's my favorite thing to do. If you're gonna bet, I like to watch the game, and I like to watch how the momentum moves, and that's how I place my bets. Got to keep a couple people in the chat. Friday night, folks, let's go. Albert, what's up, fellas?
Albert's everywhere at all times. He's like all the time. I love that dude.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother lovers. Appreciate you. And late to the party, I have our fourth guest tonight, Alec Martin. Welcome to the crew.
Hey, what is up, everybody?
Oh
man, I never get a chance to say this on my actual show because my co-hosts hate that I'm an Eagles fan, but fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Let's go.
All right, let's exit them off the show. No, I'm just kidding. So, Adia, we've got two great guests, Alec and Adia, here tonight. Tell them who you are, where you create content, and then we're going to start digging into these questions. We've already got one that came over from Twitch.
Okay.
So just tell them who you are, where you create content, and maybe your highlight of last week.
Oh, okay. Geez. On spot. All right. No worries. That's fine. So my name is Alec Martin, or just see down below Picadelphia. That's my sleeper handle name as well. So I am part of Dynasty Pylon. We are a show that essentially does things that are dynasty related or redraft related. Similar kind of like to this show, we answer questions, we go over start 'em, sit 'ems, bench 'em, trades, all that jazz. We like to have our spicy take of the week. We like to do a max or minimum Crosby. So if you play IDP, we like to do like a little game of, will Max Crosby hit this projection this week, or will he be minimum Crosby? Because you never know with the guy. So yeah, it's a bit about that. And I run a Discord, just like everybody else out there, except for mine is more tailored to bringing the community together. So I, go around and gather as much people in the community as possible to get their content out there so we can all be under essentially one roof together, grow this wonderful community. We can all be fantasy degenerates together. And yeah, that's a bit about me. And obviously I'm an Eagles fan, so, you know.
Yeah, I'm Aditya. I create content for Roto World, NBC, write articles during the season. I write a monthly rookie report article for NBC Sports. So check that out. First article will be dropping at the end of September. Other than that, I do a lot of just tweeting, and you see my Twitter handle at ADI_FUL. So go ahead and follow if you like sarcastic tweets about whatever game's going on at the moment. And I'm also a Ravens fan. So when Joe was talking about that Bills-Ravens game, that was a terrible experience to be watching for me. So I do not want to experience that again. But knowing the Ravens, that'll probably happen again in January.
Look, I was excited about the game. I made a pretty, wild call this season in saying that I think D-Hop was going to have 7 touchdowns and 700 yards. And so the one highlight of that game, the one-handed catch, the Lamar ball placement was perfect. It was everything that I wanted to see, and I think it only ticks more from there. Really pumped about that connection. We'll see if it ends up landing. I'm a little worried about the 700 yards, but I feel good about the 7 TDs. All right, so we're going to get into these questions. As you guys know from the forum, this is your Q&A show, so drop your questions in the chat. We're going to try to get to as many of them as we can. If you want to, quote, jump the line, a super chat gets you immediate access, and lets us hit your question quickly. But, yeah, we're going to get cracking. And the first question came over from Twitch. Trade Debo and Tet for Bucky. Have JSN, London Myers, Devonta Diggs, Johnston, and Saquon and Jacobs. Aditya, what do you think about that? Are you making that trade?
I'm actually not going to make that trade. It seems like you got Saquon and Jacobs, 2 really good running backs there. And Deebo Samuel with the Austin Eckler injury. I think Deebo Samuel is going to be a huge weapon for their offense with Eckler gone, that short yardage passing game, even some rushes out of the backfield. Although we really want Bill Krosky-Merritt to get 100% of those touches, he's not going to get 100% of those touches. I think we'll see a lot of Deebo there, and Teteroa McMillan is the number 1 guy in Carolina, even though Bryce Young is had a shaky start to the season. McMillan is still the number 1 guy there, so he's a guy you can rotate into your wide receiver rotation for your fantasy lineups every week. So between those 2 guys, you have guys that are offering you depth at wide receiver, and you can start them any given week. So you don't really need to go after a Bucky when you have 2 really good running backs there already reinforcing that position.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And Debo was one of the late round grabs for me this season. I felt like they would use him in that offense, and so far, back-to-back games with touchdowns. It's everything that you want to see and more. It was at 17.5 fantasy points last night. The big touchdown in the fourth quarter helped a lot, but I love it. I love that feedback. And if you're going to make a trade, the big thing is you got to level up your roster, right? Like you got to do something that moves you forward. And while Bucky is solid, I don't think Bucky moves you beyond Jacobs and Saquon, right? And then if you ask me in the flex, if I'm debating, do I want a Bucky or a Debo or a Tet? Like I want Debo and I want Tet just because I know I've got the backup, and both of their upside in a PPR format is going to be similar to Bucky anyways, especially the Debo usage. So love that. Got FF Mad Scientist podcast outfits giving me Santa Frick flashbacks. Little love there, Joe.
I got it right here. I always keep the gun hot. I mean, we can go there.
Oh gosh,
we can go there. I'm always ready.
Maybe not. All right, Alec, I'm gonna throw this one over to you. So the question is Jonnu or Juwan Johnson. You want a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers magic in Pittsburgh that we experienced. Is it gonna upkeep, or do you want Juwan Johnson and the Spencer Rattler experience? Because I feel like they quickly realized that the rookie they drafted was not going to be the guy. But what are your thoughts there between those two?
All right. So I know that Aaron Rodgers is kind of having a resurgence, and I think that is fantastic, by the way, to see from him. My old tried and true belief is that when it comes to young quarterbacks, typically their favorite target is who? Usually the check down to the tight end, the big bodied guy. So I would much so trust that than a split tight end room where Pat Fry might one week go off and Jonnu gets left, on the sidelines there with maybe 2 or 3 targets, but not enough to produce. There's less competition, I think, with Juwan Jennings. No, sorry, not Juwan. Yeah. But overall, I think that the Saints offense is going to heavily rely on Alvin Kamara and their tight end because Olave is one concussion away from being done, if not already. And Rashid Shaheed, though I love the guy, he's got the talent. I would rather trust the Saints tight end room versus the Steelers.
Anybody on a different side of the boat on that, or feel pretty comfortable?
So I think the thing to keep in mind with the tight end situation for the Steelers is that they don't really have a defined wide receiver 2. Calvin Austin had a good game last week, but he's a bit undersized. It's kind of more of a slot gadget, kind of take the top off of the defense kind of role. Jonnu, similar to like a DJ Moore, they're finding creative ways to get him the ball. They'll put him in the backfield. They'll do this and that. The touchdown that he had last week was more of like a shovel pass than like an actual reception. I do think he's going to be the focal point of the offense, and I do think he's going to see a lot of opportunities there. But it's hard to argue with Juwan Johnson if you just look at the utilization, you look at the amount of routes run relative to kind of pass attempts. And Spencer Rattler, as much hate as you want to give on the guy, he looked decent last week.
I'm not a big hater on Rattler. I always said Rattler just, went into a bad system, and but he gives you a little bit of those Mahomes vibes in a way, and like kind of like how he plays. He's not like a super athlete, but he makes some pretty good throws, and can extend plays despite that. So it'll be interesting to see how the Saints continue to move forward. And obviously the run will be at what will be the quarterback in that offense next year, I feel like is the main question there. So Joe, kind of let you have the mic a little bit more there. So Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes came out and said, "What's up, guys? I'm here." He's
Vanilla
like,
Vic, baby, what's
you
up?
forgot about me. You counted me out. Watch me work, and then and on the other side of that, JJ McCarthy came out crazy flat. Like, he came out so flat. He threw the pick 6, and I just see all the fans like, "Oh my gosh, is this what we signed up for?
This
22-year-old quarterback is going to end our lives. Can't get Justin Jefferson the ball." And then it's like a switch flipped, right? And he just like turned it on. You got okay, JJ McCarthy, the gamer, like the baller. So coming out of this one, and we'll go primarily, I mean, you'll kind of have to quick hit here. Like redraft, obviously, I think is going to be a little bit of a different question than dynasty, but hit both and your hot points on those.
Yeah, sure. So for this week, I'm going JJ McCarthy, Daniel Jones versus Denver. I want no parts of that. Like, please pass. Like, no, thank you. Like, very scary situation. If I'm talking about on the season, I do like Daniel Jones more than JJ McCarthy. Yes, Minnesota has like a pretty high-ranked pass offense. We didn't see a lot of, good utilization from Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason last week. They struggled to move the ball a little bit. So you do kind of expect with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison coming back, with Hawkins in there as well, that they're going to be able to throw the ball. But I think Daniel Jones rushing upside and that floor that you're getting from that's a big boost just from a fantasy perspective. Obviously, in Dynasty, though, you're going to go with the first rounder that is tied to an elite coach. So I don't think Daniel Jones does a lot. I think for this season, I like him, but who knows what's going to become of that. He doesn't have any long-term stability. But this week in particular, it's going to be JJ.
Aditya, were you left like astounded by the Daniel Jones performance, or did the McCarthy comeback like really just – what was the more exciting one for you?
The I think since it was a primetime game, JJ McCarthy's was exciting, but the more surprising one was Daniel Jones. I guess I kind of expected he has that rushing upside facing the atrocious Miami Dolphins defense in week 1. But man, he went like beyond what I was expecting for him. I do think he's gonna definitely come back down to earth. But I think the rushing upside combined with he is a veteran where he is going to maybe make a smarter choice or two than JJ McCarthy is. Maybe not that many more smarter choices. It is Daniel Jones, but I do think that Daniel Jones' performance was surprising and kind of shows you what his ceiling is when they face a defense that isn't offering a whole lot of resistance versus JJ McCarthy. He's still coming on to his own in that offense. He struggled. He's not going to be that same guy that he was on those last few drives against the Bears. He is going to go through his ups and downs as a rookie. So I do like Daniel Jones's upside there.
Love it. And let's see here. Brock, we got you coming up next after Jacob. So Jacob over on Twitch, half point PPR, 12 team. I'm going to try to run through this. We are on radio as well, so I have to read these to give context to the listeners. But league is a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex. So standard league, Fields, Chase Brown, Pollard, Lamb, Jason, Bowers, Odunze, Bill. Packers kicker, Packers D, bench, McCarthy, Sampson, Caleb Johnson, Golden, Juwan, and let's see, continuing that. Tillman, Downs, Evan Ingram, Dubes available. So I guess the question is, what's also Tootin, Michael Mayer there too, and Wicks. So I guess what's the roster adjustment that can be made? To me, just to keep us moving. I'll hit this real quick. The spot that I'm worried about here, like the running backs are fine. I don't think that there's a better option on waivers. You've got a couple high upside handcuffs there. You've got some good wide receivers. I don't think you're hurting there. I think Matthew Golden was that catch a little bit shorter, and we have a totally different story for his week 2 performance. For me, I think that the weak spot, and this is due to the Bowers already kind of being banged up a little bit, is going to be at tight end. And, despite the fact that he got banged up a little bit last week, I would want Evan Ingram over Juwan personally. And
here's the hard part, Tyler. Vegas plays on Monday this week, so I would actually rather have Michael Mayer, just because if you're going to play Bowers if he's in, but if he doesn't play, you're not going to know until you can't play any of those other guys.
Right. But I think that season long, right? He's probably going to play this week, but if he is banged up this week, if he is hurt, if the injury lingers, right? I want the best available player to be tight end 2, and I think that's Evan Ingram. You didn't see it I guess the narrative could have been different for this week had, the injury not happened, but, definitely getting looks, definitely getting views. They're going to throw the ball on Denver. I just want to have Evan Ingram there also on my team. I'm surprised that he's sitting there on waivers, honestly. Let's see. So we got Matt's. Oh, no, sorry, Matt. I got to go up here. Got Brock in the chat. Sup, boys? Thanks for the shout out, man. Pick a side, rest of season, full PPR, 10-team league. Waddle and Chase Brown or JT and Odunze. What do you think, Alec?
Let's see. So, all right. So Waddle, Chase, or JT and Odunze. Man, I would rather have JT and Odunze. Right now, I see someone's like, yeah, I agree.
I love the color coordination of the panels, by the way. It's
it's perfect. Clearly, the guys in the corner here, we've got it right, red all day. But no, I think, JT and Odunze makes way more sense. I like Rome. I liked him coming out of college in that offense, as much as Caleb always worries me because he plays too much hero ball and all these things about him that just worries me. But I feel like he's one of those players that if you just be patient, he will eventually flourish. I remember so many people wrote off, young because of his atrocious rookie season, and then now look at him, he's steadily getting better every year. So I think that I'd rather have that side because Waddle, I mean, I know his upside, but he hasn't really shown that to us the last 2 years. And so I would rather take, for me, JT, who, has been a proven back to be an RB1 kind of back. And I'd rather take Odunze, who I think even in that offense realistically can steal targets away from DJ Moore. DJ Moore is clearly the number one there. Rome has all the skill sets to be a number one wide receiver. So.
I agree. Is anybody different on the different side of that? All right, keep moving. Myers, Monty, or Javonte in the flex. What do you think it did you?
I'm going Jacoby Myers here, especially if Brock Bowers is going to be out. Jacoby Myers feels like one of those guys that's perennially underrated. David Montgomery, he got some carries behind Jahmyr Gibbs. They got bottled up by a tough Packers defense. But it's still to be seen how that offense, like where that upside is without Ben Johnson in that offense. Javonte Williams, it felt like Jalen Carter got ejected and that front seven for the Eagles was able to be exploited for a couple of rushing touchdowns there. So I think you'll see some regression from him. But Jacoby Myers is a guy who's consistently getting targets. Geno Smith is an upgrading quarterback than last year for the Raiders. And especially if Brock Bowers is out, you'll see a lot of Jacoby Myers playing the slot and getting those high-value targets. So I like Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, we've been pretty high on Myers on the show all season. He definitely got a lot of looks, so I don't hate that. And if Bowers is out, it even gets better. Keeping with the chat, and really just to second on that Javonte thing, Javonte benefited from George Pickens. And I think it's going to be a lot of what we see. George Pickens is a wide receiver one. I don't care what anybody says. He's a wide receiver one, and now he's got cornerback twos on him versus being double teamed like he was in Pittsburgh. And so he's going to beat them. And just was like 2 big PI calls that he pulled in. He's going to beat them, and they're going to do crap like that ends up with getting the flag, and Javonte is going to get the touchdown on the 2-yard line because Pickens draws the PI. It's going to happen.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
George Pickens sucks.
No, he doesn't. Get out of here.
George Pickens sucks. George Pickens last year, the problem that they had in Pittsburgh is that he would only put his mouthpiece in when he thought he was getting the ball, and teams are queuing up on that. Dallas is already upset that he wasn't trying on blocking plays. The next time that he has a big game, sell high on George Pickens because he's not going to be in the league in 3 years.
The Steelers.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That and
not in the league in 3 years is crazy.
But no, he kind of has a point though, because he has a really bad tell. Even last week, I forget who it was, but some defensive player made a tweet about it saying, "Oh, you can tell that it's a run play just based off of how he just acts when he's at the line. He doesn't want to block. He doesn't put the effort in to the extreme amount." So so we knew that they were running because he just had looked so nonchalant. So, yeah.
Look, we can agree to disagree. I think George Pickens is a baller. I do think that he's a little bit in his way because he's got a big head. But when it comes to catching traffic, I don't know of many players that are better in the league. He's a good player. He's tough. He plays tough. I think that it's a team. He needs a team to a little bit go alongside the personality. Don't let what I'm saying? Support him. Get him the ball. He's going to catch it. Anyways, keep rolling before we get caught up on that again. Let's see here.
Could be Matt C, I think, is our next question. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt C. I want to trade away Hampton, Igbuka, and Jameson Williams and receive James Conner and Justin Jefferson. Maybe need Igbuka and JMO to have one more good week before I send it. Look.
Yes.
I don't want to do this trade. Look, even if you're in a win now, easily the best piece in this trade is Justin Jefferson, which is fine.
This is probably redraft though.
J-Mo, sure, disposable redraft. James Conner, without that receiving touchdown, James Conner did not have a crazy good game. Trey Benson looked more effective running the football. But Egbuka and Hampton's just getting going. I think in Dynasty especially, I think Egbuka's special. Like I want him. I want him on my team. I think he's one of the better route runners out of the class, despite what the narrative was. He got open. He called his touchdown at the end of the game. Like, I want that. And so for me, if this is Dynasty, I especially don't want to do the deal. If it's in redraft,
so looking at the other comments, he says that he has Derrick Henry and Achane lacking a number one receiver.
But he's got MHJ and Egbuka at his starters. I don't hate that, especially as we go into the season. What I'm worried about here, though, is Achane. Like, I want to have that running back there of Hampton, who that offense looked good. And typically, I don't know if Greg Roman's is like trying to like throw a curveball or something like that.
No, it's a new age. It's a new age.
Typically, he's a run heavy guy, and they came out.
They have Justin Himbert.
But at like what point in the season does he shift back to what he does?
They won't. They won't.
That actually is a good point. And I think what the Chargers and, yes, the Eagles did in the Super Bowl, what they did was expose how you can beat the Chiefs defense. If you're primarily known for doing one thing, you do the exact opposite because they're going to heavily focus on that one thing. And Hampton, for all accounts, he may not have been an efficiently great game, but you got to love seeing, 15 carries, and actually going up against a very stout, strong run defense. I'm a big fan of Hampton, and Mbuka. I mean, I kind of get this guy's question here a little bit where he wants a number one wide receiver because I'm sorry, but I'm not the big MHJ fan, at least not yet. I'm more of a Neighbors guy. I'm more of a Neighbors guy all the way. I think Neighbors will have a much better, at least fantasy football-wise, trajectory throughout the years. But I would probably consider the trade, but I also don't like the idea of giving up Hampton. I think that he is something special. And I think, this week especially, or even week 3, I think he will show it. He will show the flowers. They're going to be a balanced team probably this year, at least to start it out. But once Hampton really finds his feet, they're going to run the ball with him more, 20, 25 times a game. It's going to happen. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
And not to combat you on that, but like, I don't know what's up with the MHJ hate. Like, freaking the guy had 6 targets. He caught 5 of them.
It's a Kyler Murray problem.
For 71 yards and a touchdown.
He's too busy with Call of Duty. Come on now.
71 yards and a touchdown. He had more points than JJ or
Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? But I'm definitely not like, oh, after 1 week, 71 yards and a touchdown, that's boring. Like, that's not what we want out of MHJ. Like, I'm not going, oh, he can't be a wide receiver 1. I'm fine with that production. And you see JJ's got a rookie quarterback and he's feeling rookie quarterback fever. Like, so it's not like in redraft, it's that crazy of an upgrade, especially look, one of my ways that I tend to win my redraft leagues is I draft young wide receivers like Egbuka, that or like MHJ that are undervalued, that are going to come on more as the season goes. Right. And it usually bodes well for me. Go running back heavy and draft late young wide receivers, and it pans out several seasons.
That's the man that drafted 8 straight running backs in a draft.
Hey, guess what? In that league, I am 1-0. And you know who sealed the deal for me? Freaking Travis Etienne while Tank Bigsby got traded. So you eat it, all you suckers in here that says, I don't care. I'm here. We're here for the takes. And look, I'll tell you this: if I drop the ball, I'll own it. You guys see it. I've got on my wall a Traylon Burks jersey signed. Like, I'll own my calls that don't work out. I don't think that Traylon Burks is a bad receiver, but I don't think he can stay healthy. It's kind of that, Mike Williams syndrome of, hey, I just fall too hard, and so we're not going to get to see him on the field for any kind of extended period of time. And that's what that's. But like these players. And you know what's awesome, Joe, and we'll get back into the chat. It was really awesome this week. I've been talking about Isaac Tesla.
Bro, all of the players that you've been dreaming about scored a touchdown last week.
I know, in week 1. No, what was awesome was I had a guy ahead of me by 2 points in one of my big money leagues. And the end of the game, he had Green Bay's defense. So at the end of the game, when Tesla caught that touchdown, not only did a Razorback catch a touchdown in like his 2 snaps, but it also dropped Green Bay. Mm-hmm. So I won that game. So I was pumped. Anyways, let's keep moving I'll get off my my horse and keep getting through these questions here. Sure. Kanoa built deep leagues running back stash, Miles Sanders or Justice Hill. Who do you want, Joe?
So here's the thing.
Just pick one that you stash on your right. I know they're both droppable. Pick one that you stash.
Well, so here's the problem. So Miles Sanders is like the de facto backup in Dallas, which take what you will with that. I don't have a lot of confidence. They ran the ball 22 times last week, and I don't think he's there. Justice Hill is not the backup for Derrick Henry. Justice Hill is a third down back that will randomly pop off and have like a great best ball game. But if something were to happen to the beast that is Derrick Henry, which is impossible, because he's been having like 400 carries season since he was 14. Mm. Justice Hill wouldn't be the starting running back. So it's like, can I say neither? I don't think either one is really the guy that you want to stash. I don't think that Miles Sanders, if Javonte goes down, like Miles Sanders will get the first crack. I don't really feel great about anybody in the Dallas room. They are like 2 steps up from the Houston running back room, which I want no part of. And Justice Hill isn't going to be the backup, even though he sees the field in the role that he's in presently for Baltimore. So I think that you're wasting your time with both guys.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want either. Keep moving so we can get through these chats. Got a couple people. Jacob said, we did hit your chat. I don't know if you had tuned out for a second. I love it. Greg Roman finally has a quarterback. He's never had that before. It's a good point.
He had Lamar.
He did have Lamar, but Lamar was also it was young in Lamar's career, and like he was very much so rushing format early. I think that the passing, like the last 2 seasons, really we started to see him. I mean, last year when he had 41 passing touchdowns, much different than before. So. Sure, but it was definitely not what I expected. So I don't know if that has to do with it or if it's a Harbaugh thing. But
the other thing too is that Justin Herbert had plantar fasciitis, or however you say that, going into the season last year. So I think that they were just like trying to get him through the year.
But the eyes said, stop saying without the TD. We draft people because they get TDs. Agreed, brother. Agreed. Mm-hmm. Give me them touchdowns.
Want those
all right. Back up.
It should be Marcus. Here. Marcus Main too.
Yeah. So who to start in flex? Pick 2. You got Tet, Myers, Devonta Smith, Harvey, Johnston, Diggs. Aditya, this is coming to you.
All right, we already talked about Jacoby Myers earlier. He's still one of my picks among this group. The other pick, a little bit difficult on the decision. I think Diggs, you're probably not starting. It didn't look like he got a whole lot of run in week 1. But between those guys, I kind of like RJ Harvey. You saw J.K. Dobbins get a pretty big workload there, but among those other guys, McMillan, the Panthers offense is still coming along. McMillan seems like he's going to be, if he gets a touchdown, he's a hit. If he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not. Devonta Smith, it seems like Eagle is a little bit lower passing volume. I think RJ Harvey has that upside ceiling that you're shooting for in a flex play, to where he has the burst to get a large play going. He can score touchdowns both as a rusher and a passer or receiver. I think he can easily unseat J.K. Dobbins for carries. That Sean Payton's a little bit annoying with how he wants to use his running backs, but I think whenever you're looking at flex plays, running backs I think have more upside than wide receivers. So RJ Harvey I think has that upside next to Jacoby Myers that you want to pick.
All right. I will say this. I hope RJ Harvey gets a little bit more work. I mean, he had a crazy only 6 carries, but still 70 yards. Like he's definitely got the big playability. I don't know. I feel like it might be. I don't know, Joe. What do you wonder if it's like a bit early, like to go him over like a Ted? Like Ted had 9 targets.
I wouldn't feel good about playing Harvey this week just because of the lack of touches. As you know, I'm a whore for a high floor. So that's why I do like Jacoby Myers. I think the 2 players that it comes down to for me is going to be T-Mac, Tedero McMillan, or Devonta Smith. I know that they struggled last week with the passing game, but it doesn't look like Dallas Goedert's going to play. And if you look at the way that the Eagles play versus man-to-man versus zone, I actually heard this on a podcast on Wednesday, but the Eagles hyper-target their wide receivers in man-to-man schemes, and they tend to target the tight end when they go up against zone. They're playing a team this week with the Giants that tend to play a lot more man-to-man. I think Devonta Smith is going to have a lot more run this week. But for me, I like having a number 1 guy in the offense. Tet didn't necessarily boom last week, but I think for me, I would probably be going Tedero McMillan, Jacoby Myers. And then if I didn't want either of those 2, I think Harvey would actually probably fall at the bottom of the list for me. Not because of talent, but just because I need to see him do it first before I feel comfortable throwing him in a lineup.
I do think he's a good ceiling play. I just
Absolutely. He could take
Ted's got Arizona. He had 9 targets last week. In
Arizona last week, Chris Olave had like 13 or 14 targets as the wide receiver 1 for New Orleans last week. So it's not like they're shut down.
So Alec, be a tiebreaker here. Do you have any of those? Do you side with one over the other?
All right. Well, to be a bit more on the controversial side, I think the Tet argument actually is pretty nice, although I'm not as high on Tet just because I know that that's more of a run-first team, and that has been their DNA for years. They like to run the ball, and usually I agree with a wide receiver 1 upside, because if they're peppered with targets, volume is king. That's what we say, especially in PPR leagues. However, I'm going to go with Diggs because everyone keeps on, even back when we were doing Scott Fishbowl draft, everyone kept on sleeping on Diggs, saying that, Diggs had that injury. Oh, Diggs doesn't look so serious. He's on a boat with a bunch of people. No, he had 7 targets. He's the wide receiver 1 there. I'd rather trust that guy with a Drake May that I think is just getting better and better. And I will
this week too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, for me in my projections, I have both Diggs and A-Chain both getting a touchdown this week. So that's how I feel about them. So I'm going to go off of that. And then Devonta Smith, I do agree. He's like the perfect epitome of a wide receiver 2 that could be a wide receiver 1 anywhere else. And I do agree against their current matchup they're going up against, which is the Chiefs. I think that they will definitely pass the ball more. And I think that he'll look probably a little bit more efficient than A.J. Brown will be. So I think that I would go with Devonta Smith and good old Diggsy.
All right, so I don't know if that helped, but you did get some analysis on both sides. For me, I like Jacoby, especially if Brock and Goyati said, "What's Brock's concern-o-meter?" It's enough. It was a non-contact, deal, and anytime that happens, you worry about how that's going to develop.
And he didn't practice today.
Yeah, say what?
He didn't practice today.
Right. I like the Myers call. I like the Harvey ceiling. The output in game 1 was really nice. And the targets are going to come for Tet. I think that Arizona's DBs, I think that he can have some big catches. So it is a balance between those 2 for me. But yeah, appreciate the question and hope that helps. Mad Scientist said add Mayer as a backup, so he likes what you were talking about earlier there, Joe. And then Mathiasen taking his victory lap. I was right about Egbuka over Henderson.
You can't make that victory lap right now. That's absurd. You can't do that.
No, not season long, but week 1. Week 1, it's definitely a victory lap. Now they're saying Godwin's going to be back by week 4. I don't think that affects him. I think that we're still going to see a big Egbuka. I do think that if you're the New England head coach There's no way you watch that game and go, I need to give Ramondre more carries and put Henderson on the bench.
Like, they had Ramondre in all situations playing too. It wasn't like,
right. But who was more effective? It was Travion. And I think as we go through the season, Travion's upside as an all-purpose back is going to take loose. I think that they re-signed Ramondre. They had to give him the touches, sure. But even as the game went on, I felt like we got a little bit more Travion. And but I think Egbuka's a solid grab and somebody I'm glad that I drafted late in redraft formats. I think he's going to – I mean, where was Mike Evans? It was the Egbuka show. And
did you hear about his story about him calling game on that slant route to end?
Yeah, I did.
That was sick. That's so sick.
That's awesome.
Hey, man, he's doing it. He said, Matthias said if he was good, he would have decent stats. I don't know what he's talking about there, if he's talking about Travion or not. I mean, both of them look good.
That was probably
Travion had 5 carries, okay? He averaged over 5 yards a carry, 27 yards. He had 6 targets, and guess what? He caught all 6 targets for 24 yards. So as far as effectiveness, any running back averaging over 5 yards a carry and then catching every pass thrown to him at over 5 yards a reception as a receiver or as a that's somebody like you need to get the ball in his hands more, I feel like, personally. Yes. I mean, if you got a running back that's averaging 5 yards a carry and you're only giving him 5 touches, that's a problem because
Ramon rookie Nick Chubb right there.
Like get the guy the ball.
Yeah, the concern comes from Mike Vrabel. Seems like the grinder kind of guy. Like he likes to stick with his guys that know his offense. Like Ramondre Stevenson probably just knows more from being in the league longer. So that's going to get annoying because there'll probably be some high leverage situations where Mike Vrabel is like, I'm going to roll out the guy that maybe he'll fumble, but he's a grinder. But
it's crazy. You got a running back averaging over 5 yards a carry. Ramondre got 2 more. Now, granted, he got 2 more carries than Henderson. He only had 7 rushes. He averaged 2.14 yards per carry.
Same.
What are we doing, bro?
Listen, Mike Vrabel's the first coach in history to get worse CTE as a coach. All right, you got 13 fights this offseason. He's doing his best.
But if he keeps improving himself, if Henderson does, you know that eventually he'll be the starter. I mean, we're just waiting for when it does happen. It will be like the whole Bucky Irving show all over again. Truthfully, I mean, it could be. He has that huge upside, man, and I love it.
Yeah, it's Trackus, great stuff, fellas, man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Got Kanoa Built in the chat. Stash Blue or Mitchell? I'm not stashing either of these guys, but if you have to pick one, who is it for you, Alec?
Blue. I don't like either of these guys, but to me, for some reason, the Cowboys really just don't like drafting a running back when they probably should get a running back or trade for a running back or pick one up. Like they could have picked up Henry, but no, they decided not to, even though they're going all in, right? Totally. No. But Blue would be my guy. I don't really care for either of them, but he just feels like more of the quote-unquote safer option.
Anybody got a different take?
I won't bet against Derrick Henry at this point. That man's a machine, bro. There's no way.
Look, he is a machine. Let me tell you, both of these guys are like injury guys for me. And if there's an offense I want the second guy in, it's the Ravens. And I say that I've talked about it on the show before. Anytime you have a running quarterback like Lamar, it forces linebackers to play different. They have to play honest because you have to watch Lamar. So you look at any running back that's ran the ball in Baltimore, and they average significant yards per carry. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be J.K. Dobbins on a bum knee. It can be Keaton Mitchell. It can be Justice Hill, Derrick Henry, whoever, And when Derrick Henry got traded, I was high on him because I said, guess what? People are going to have to play Lamar, which means Derrick Henry's running through the lane, and people can't adjust in time, which means they're trying to arm tackle a dude that breaks arms off as he runs through the gap, and so to me, if Derrick Henry gets hurt, like you said earlier, it's not going to be the Justice Hill show. So whose show is it? And in any situation, if Keaton Mitchell gets the opportunity, it's enough to create a significantly viable running back.
But what's not smart? Grant Delpit saying that it's easy to tackle Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Playing him. Like,
right.
you know that Derrick Henry's winning angry runs this week. Like, you already know, and it's going to be Grant Delpit going through the turf. It's a lock.
Probably shouldn't start him in IDP if I were.
Matt C in the chat, Tucker Kraft or Tylen Warren, rest of season. What do you think?
I'm going Tucker Kraft. I was high on Tucker Kraft before the season started, and then he had his breakout game last night. So I think Tucker Kraft, he's also in a better offense. And the Jaden Reed injury that just happened is sucks for Jaden Reed, and he's going to be out until at least November, I think. So I think Tucker Kraft's going to be a huge beneficiary of some of those targets. Whereas Tyler Warren, he got a lot of usage. But again, it was against the Dolphins. He is still a rookie. His quarterback is Daniel Jones versus Jordan Love. So I would prefer Tucker Kraft in that situation.
I can't believe that he was able to play with that Jones fracture. Talking about Reed. Like, week one, I was like, there's no way they're actually going to play this guy with the broken foot. And then he went out and scored a touchdown. And then he had the touchdown that got called back last week, or I guess yesterday. And it was just like, no, like, this man isn't human. And then he went and broke his
collarbone this time. Not even anything related to the Jones fracture.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. I had the injuries, man, in NFL is just like kill. Jaden Reed looked really good. I will tell you, though, like, in response to this question, like, if you watched the game last night, it was the Tucker Kraft show. Like, it was the Tucker Kraft show, and I was there for it. I didn't even like Tucker Kraft was not one of my tight end targets coming into the season, but dude, it was George Kittle-ish. It was, I mean, the guy was going out, he was catching balls, he was freaking, stiff arming folks. Like, he's running hard. Like, it was everything you wanted to see out of a tight end. And then, the crazy thing is you had Luke Musgrave coming in and doing some stuff too. It's like it made me excited. The Green Bay, like, you came into the season and you're going, who's Green Bay's wide receiver one? Like, who's it going to be? And I don't know about anybody else in this room, but it kind of feels like it's Tucker Kraft after two big games. Like, it feels like
he's led the team in, like, routes run. He's led the team in targets. I mean, it's all there for him to do.
Right. Like, I'm in.
Kraft, yak, and cheese all day. Let's go. We're eating it all day long.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft is definitely the guy I'd pick there, especially now that his main competition is gone in Reed, which is a shame because I really love Reed. But, Tucker Kraft all day, every day now.
It's funny you said, like, Kraft mac and cheese. Like,
no, Kraft yak and cheese.
Yak and cheese because I see what you're doing there.
Look, it's not healthy for you. Like, Kraft mac and cheese is not healthy for you.
What, you anti-shells?
Don't even mess with this fantasy chat.
It's still good. It's still good. It's
good for the soul, Tyler. Come on.
All right, YouTube, end the stream. End it, please.
End the stream.
Mr. Beast,
Brandon Thomas in the chat. What's up, fellas? Enjoying the conversation.
Brandon Thomas. It's a legend. I love that guy.
Yeah, awesome. Go Yachty said Dontavian Wicks season. No, I do expect Matthew Golden to start popping off. I really like having Golden with Reed out. You saw, almost had a huge long pass touchdown, and that was before Reed went out. So, I'm in. I think Dontavian Wicks is now rosterable, where I didn't think he was rosterable before. But love that. He said, I laughed like Nelson from The Simpsons when Reed got hurt, zero stock in him.
Very weird
Okay.
flex.
Yeah.
That's a very weird
One, we
flex.
don't want to laugh when people get hurt.
Nah.
He was already playing with the other injury, breaks his collarbone. It sucks. These players are playing for their livelihood. We never want injury for them. But I will say this, it does hurt less for us as players when we have no exposure to the player. And I'm not gonna lie, I was playing like 3 teams last week that had Xavier Worthy in their lineup. And while I was really disappointed for Xavier Worthy, I was also happy that I didn't get Xavier Worthy numbers going against my scorecard. But we never want to be excited about injury. I hope that he's good and he's able to come back and get back. Obviously, it's going to be probably season ending for him or close to. Which at this point, collarbone, Jones fracture, you probably just go ahead and say, hey, let me get these taken care of. And Green Bay is going to bring you back.
Maybe bring him back for the playoffs.
So-
It seems like they're going to be right in the thick of it. So.
Look at this. He said, wow, you were happy about Worthy. No, I wasn't happy about Worthy, which was the narrative that I was saying. I don't want anybody to get injured.
Cancel Tyler.
No one
Cancel him.
No. Say Tyler, though. I am curious because you brought up Golden just real quick. Does it worry you, though, his overall snap count is like 50% for the first 2 weeks?
No, because everything just changed. Like everything just changed. Like the guy that was out there is no longer there. And so what is Dontavian Wicks going to eat into a snap share? No, I think that now he moves to Reed's snap share and gets more. And then Dontavian Wicks moves to more of the 50% route. So I'm not worried about it. I feel better about him as a Golden owner.
The only thing that worries me about it is that Jordan Love's only supported like wide receiver 1 receiver was Jordan Reed, and that was because he was also getting the rushing work. Yep. So it's like there is a pretty strong correlation between, hey, like this quarterback supports wide receiver 1s, and then you are the beneficiary as the wide receiver 1 to this quarterback. Jordan Love just like throws it around. He's the Village bicycle. Everybody gets a ride. Like we're all getting targets. We're all vibing, which is great for the Packers. But it's not great for fantasy.
Look, the Packers, I saw they played during the game, the stat, they were like Bart Starr won a Super Bowl at 27. Brett Favre won at 27.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers
won at 27. And now Jordan Love is 27 this year. We will see. But
I've seen enough. That's it.
Green Bay has looked good.
It's done.
Green Bay has looked good. And, the surprise, probably the latest drafted out of all of them was Romeo Doubs, and he has absolutely been productive. So that's definitely a waiver wire ad for me coming into this week. I know we're past that now, but was definitely trying to grab Doubs if I can. With the Reed injury, I think it even more expands that. So let's see here. Continuing to move, would you rather have Chargers wide receivers over Packers wide receivers? The answer for me on that is yes, because I get a little bit more. I say that for the Chargers, I only really want Ladd. I know QJ had a good week.
I like
Keenan Allen had a good week.
Yeah, Keenan Allen looks good.
I personally want Ladd or maybe Keenan, but like with. I think both of them are good. You're getting the same upside. It's like anybody's given week. The only thing is I think that Ladd and Kraft are going to be your consistent 2 out of the 2 offenses. Anybody disagree?
No.
All right. So Kanoa Bill said, any other KC wide receivers worth rostering other than Hollywood?
No, but you should be trying to get Rashee Rice in a trade next week when somebody's probably 0-2, because when he comes back, he's going to get like 40 targets again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, I hate that take.
Yeah. I would say Juju Smith-Schuster in a deep league, like you need a guy, and it's a 12-team league where the starting lineups more than regular leagues. Juju Smith-Schuster is a guy that he's been in that offense for a while. Like if there is a guy behind Hollywood, I think it's Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, I mean, Juju's been a late round grab for me. I think that, like, especially he kind of takes on like the Kelsey role and like the short passing catches, guys not catching anything deep down the field. Tyquan Thornton seemed to be their deep guy, which was exciting in best ball formats. But it's going to be interesting to see how Kansas City unfolds. Keep it moving here. We got Jorge in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like button. If you're in the chat, hit the like button. Show the love. Hit the subscribe. If you're not subscribed, if you're on Twitch, hit the subscribe. We appreciate the love there. So he says, "Hello, gents. I have a trade offer. Getting Travion Henderson and Golden for Garrett Wilson and Jordan Mason.
No.
Not sure I like it, but thanks." We'll kind of go around the horn real quick on this, and the reason is I think this is probably our closest trade out of the ones that have been mentioned so far. This feels like the closest in value. Aaron Jones looked a little rusty. Jordan Mason looked good. Garrett Wilson had a surprisingly good game. Justin Fields looks surprisingly good. And Joe, I know you've been touting Fields' horn all offseason. Surprised me, was not what I expected. Travion and Golden are both very young players, but we've seen the upside. Like both of them looked really good with the touches that they got. So in an expanded workload, I think that the question is, can the Travion and Golden output outweigh? So, Joe, you're shaking your head. So it sounds like you're pretty clearly on the Garrett Wilson, Jordan Mason side.
That's
so my
correct.
question would be, Alec, Aditya, are either of you on the other side of this trade, and why?
No, I'm also a Fields believer. I think Garrett Wilson and Jordan Mason just have way too much upside over the other ladder.
I think in redraft leagues for sure you're going Wilson and Mason, but in Dynasty I think it's a conversation for sure where Henderson, Golden. I think Mason is less of a value in Dynasty, so that's where he gets devalued a little. But redraft for sure, the Wilson and Mason side.
There you go. Love it. Love it. Hit that like button. Appreciate you tuning in. And we got George Play 01 in the chat. Hello, guys. For a flex, non-PPR.
Okay.
Clear point here. Non-PPR for these two players. Harvey or Jordan Mason? You're laughing, Alec. What's your thoughts?
Well, no, because only in this kind of format could I see this have to be like, you know what? You can't go wrong with either. If it's redraft, I like Jordan Mason a little bit more, but the RJ Harvey's upside is like really also nice too, because that guy runs like a freaking unit. So I guess I'll pick Jordan Mason, but I would be happy with either, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd go Mason as well because it's non-PPR. I think like Harvey's a guy who can catch passes. Jordan Mason, it doesn't seem like he's going to be catching passes. It'll be Aaron Jones there, but it does seem like Jordan Mason's getting some of those red zone touches, goal line touches. So that's where he gets that boost in the non-PPR format.
Give me Harvey.
Joe, you on the same?
I'm not. Harvey's a better player. Give me the player in the better offense. Give me Harvey. We just watched him run for a 60-yard, 50-yard run, whatever. Like,
Look,
Mason,
what's crazy?
It took him an entire game to do that.
What's crazy is Jordan Mason got 15 touches.
He actually got
touches.
the volume of the starter relative to Aaron Jones last week.
Yeah, like I was surprised about that. But in his 15 touches, I will say this: in his 15 touches, Harvey still outrushed him on 6 touches in total yardage. Receiving was very similar. Point differential in fantasy was under 1 point. Mason in most formats finished around at 8. Well, non-PPR probably they both had 1 target and 1 reception. So the PPR format didn't really matter this week. But season long, give me Harvey for the upside, and it's because I am expecting, like you said, Aditya, I'm expecting the big plays. I'm expecting them to come. I'm really excited for that. And George got a couple more questions, and then we got to kind of round this thing out. So we're going to hit the last three here. And then if you're tuned in, hit the like, hit the sub, and be here next week. We'll be here for your questions. I'm sorry that we can't go super over. But yeah, so real quick, we'll fast track. Also need 2 wide receivers, Pickens, Devonta Smith, or Ridley. Joe, give me your 2.
Give me George Pickens just because of the high volume passing offense, and then give me Devonta Smith in the man-to-man coverage. Ridley has another tough matchup this week. It'll be a great buy low in week 3.
Aditya?
I agree with the Pickens and Smith. I think Ridley's still coming on with the Cam Ward rookie offense. So I think Pickens and Smith for now.
Alec?
Call me a parrot because I'm just repeating the same thing these two are. Pickens and Devontae Smith, baby.
So there it is, Pickens and Devonta. George said, should I trade Jordan Mason for Igbuka? The answer is yes. Hit accept on it now. If you didn't send the trade and they send it to you and it's sitting in your inbox, you better hit accept before they take it away.
And then go run around naked and drink some champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Preferably with nobody else around.
Good idea to drop Loveland. I don't think I'm dropping Loveland yet. I think that offense is going to be double tight end set. And we just saw Cole Kmet to be the winner this week of that work. But I think they're going to be dual tight end a lot. And they have no run game. So Swift is awful. And then World of Jesus. Yo, I have McBride and Warren in 10-man redraft. I'm trying to pawn off Warren and upgrade either Mahomes or Higgins. Should I wait another week? Don't feel like I can get anything with Higgins.
Yeah, you want to wait for the sell high. So basically, it's like Warren's going to continue to get his touches. You wait till Higgins has his 50-point bomb because you know it's going to happen. You pass it together. You get that big player, and then you move on because you're never going to start Warren over McBride ever.
Mm-hmm.
And look, here's the deal. When you like, it could be this week. Like, you know, you've got a Bengals offense going against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville saying that they're going to play Travis Hunter a little bit more on defense. I don't know if you watched the game. I watched the game because I have a lot of Jacksonville exposure, but Travis Hunter did not look good on defense. Like he played very much off the receiver. He didn't look good as a tackler. He allowed catches to be caught. So like in my world, I think that week, at least a touchdown, you know, like I would take T. Higgins this week on an anytime touchdown. Like I think it could be this week. And I think if he does, then you pair a T. Higgins, you pair a Warren, and you go get you a good upgrade. And especially if Warren can have another good week, I think you can definitely grab a good player. Awesome. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the sub. You know where we are every Friday night, 9:00 Central. Real quick, Alec, Aditya, tell the audience where they can find you, whether it be Twitter or your articles or content, where they can find you real quick so they can check out some of your stuff. We'll start with Alec and then go Aditya.
Sure. All right. So once again, my name is Alec Martin. You can find me on Dynasty Pylon over on YouTube. You can find me, Zion Penumbra, on Twitch as well. I love to live stream fantasy footballs, and I do podcasts for my league. So you can delve deep if you're wanting to be a commissioner or learn how to do commissioner stuff. I can help you there. But you can also find me in my Discord. I'm the return specialist. If you have any questions about returners, I'm your guy because I only cover the most niche and most unusual stuff in fantasy. So, and then Philadelphia on Sleeper. So that's where you can find me, guys. Go Birds. Yeah.
You can find me at Roto World. I'll be dropping a rookie report article once a month, starting after week 4. You can find me on Twitter at ADI_FUL and also on Blue Sky at ADIFUL without the underscore. Every week, Sunday, I cover a game for Roto World and the recap podcast that drops Monday. So you can find me on there too. But yeah, tune in if you want some sarcastic tweets or posts, and keep the ball rolling for this season.
Love it. Love it. Joe?
I'm here all the time, every Friday night from the forum at JOEFRK. Find me, love me, leave me, whatever you need. We'll make it happen.
Look, got our guy Millie Mills coming in last
that
minute. Bro, you better hit the like button. Look, Millie's awesome supporter. Appreciate you tuning in every week. But he said, I don't care what y'all do. Sunday night time into Atlanta versus Minnesota. Look,
National championship rematch right there.
Look, I'm going to be in. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be excited. He said, rise up, go Bird. Look, I've been sly on Atlanta. I had Atlanta to beat the Bucks last week. Now I ended up taking the plus, it was like plus 5.5 or something. So I still carried even with the missed field goal by Koo there at the end. But I will say I saw a lot of things I liked. I saw a defense that looked convincing. So Millie Mills, I know you're a huge Atlanta fan. Could be good. Could be good. Anyways, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for the love. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you next week, every week, 9 o'clock Central from the forum. Me, Joe, two guests like these awesome fellows we had tonight, and always here for your fantasy football questions. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a good one. Out.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.